Good evening. Welcome to this evening's Yukon City Council and Yukon Municipal Authority meeting. It is March the 3rd, 2026 at approximately 7 p.m. We're gathered here in City Council chambers in the Centennial Building at 12 South Fish Street in the great city of Yukon, Oklahoma. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Brian Pillmore.
Here.
Jeff Wooten.
Here.
Shelley Selby.
Here.
Adam Shriver.
Here.
Rodney Zimmerman.
Here.
At this time, we'll have our invocation delivered by Pastor George Samcuddy with New Life Pentecostal Assembly. Please rise as you're able. We'll follow that by our Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gathering and for our city council here. We ask your blessing upon all the things happening here in this place, oh God. We pray for all the citizens gathered here and all our members and our mayor. And we ask your blessing upon each one of them, oh God. Every decisions in this council is happening, oh God. Be a blessing to the citizens of the Yukon, oh God. As our nation is facing so much challenges and conflicts, we ask a peaceful resolution of all that thing also, oh God. We once again thank you in your great name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This evening, we do not have any presentations or proclamations. At this time, we'll recess as Yukon City Council and reconvene as Yukon Municipal Authority. We'll take up the Yukon Municipal Authority consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so the Yukon Municipal Authority, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items they wish to be approved by one motion. Should the authority determine any item cannot be approved by a unanimous vote, that item will be removed from the consent docket and considered separately. The city manager recommends a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 17, 2026. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll recess as Yukon Municipal Authority, reconvene as Yukon City Council. We'll take up, similarly, the Yukon City Council consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so the Yukon City Council, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items they wish to be approved by one motion. Should the council determine that any item cannot be approved by unanimous vote, that item will be removed from the consent docket and considered separately. The city manager recommends a motion that will approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 17, 2026, payment of material claims in the amount of $1,180,887.90, approve the Parks and Rec capital plan for flooring replacement to be completed at the Dale Robertson Center to be performed by Vector Concepts in the amount of $147,432.87, utilizing buy board contract number 736-24. Approve budget amendment number 26 for fiscal year 2025-26 to adjust the library budget to reflect state aid revenue and authorize the use of prior year unused grant funds for current year needs. Approve the resignation of Carrie Sharp as the Ward 3 representative on the Park Board and the appointment of Melissa Hodge as Ward 3 representative to serve the remainder of the term. Approve the removal of April Stacy as Ward 3 representative on the Board of Adjustments pursuant to City of Yukon Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 7, Division 1, Section 2-327B, and the appointment of Carrie Sharp to serve the remainder of the term. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
I just have a question on item B. Wow, these are hot tonight. On item B, and I can't remember what it's called, Jeff. It said $2,500. Is that for the hotline? Is that a month or is that for the year?
25 for
The hotline?
the ethics hotline?
Uh-huh.
I have no idea.
I think it's an annual deal.
Annual? And also, do we know if anyone's ever used it?
One, maybe?
One?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's yearly, not monthly?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, Josh is here. Josh is here. We'll find out for sure.
Okay.
Any other discussion on these items? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll take up item 9 and 10, just due to a visitor that's here that needs to depart in short order due to some other issues. But this time we'll have discussion and possible action to approve ordinance number 1487, An ordinance granting the Oklahoma Gas and Electric Company and Oklahoma Corporation, its successors and assigns, the right to produce, transmit, and distribute electricity within the city limits and to sell electricity therein for all purposes for which it may be used, to the city of Yukon, Canadian County, Oklahoma, its inhabitants, and the public generally, and the right to construct, maintain, and operate a system of poles, wires, conduits, and other facilities and equipment in, upon, across, under, and over the streets, alleys, public grounds, or ways in the city for such purposes for a period of 25 years from the approval and acceptance of this ordinance, providing compensation to the city, and ordering an election. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Shriver,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll take up item 10. We'll have a discussion of possible action to approve Resolution 2026-06, a resolution calling for a special election in the city of Yukon, Oklahoma on August 25th, 2026, for the purpose of submitting to the qualified electors of the city of Yukon the question of whether an ordinance granting a franchise to Oklahoma Gas and Electric Company for purposes of producing, transmitting, and distributing electricity in the city of Yukon shall be approved, authorizing the mayor to call the special election and requesting the Canadian County Election Board to conduct the election. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
I'd like first just to tell the public why we do this and what happens if you vote no.
Yeah.
How that's, and also I wish that we could do it at the same time we do like our February elections, because it costs us money every
Yeah.
time we hold an election.
Absolutely. So the period for the franchise is 25 years. The last time this was done was in, I think, 2020, or I'm sorry, 2000, 2001 time frame. Councilman Zimmerman showed me the Muni Code where that was put into effect way back when. And what happens if citizens vote no? I asked that same question to the city clerk, and what I was informed is, number one, immediately OG&E is not able to work in the right-of-ways within our city. So we have a storm. That's a very bad thing. The second thing that she informed me of is that they'll have to pull a permit for any and everything that they do, which is not good in some of these cases. And lastly, it puts into jeopardy the approximately a third of the city budget, which is about $1 million of franchise tax that comes from our great partner in our electric utility, OG&E.
So I think a lot of times people go, oh, we're voting to have OG&E or somebody else. Well, there is nobody else. And we lose our franchise fees, and that is huge. So we
Yeah.
really have to educate everybody that vote yes on that.
Great point.
Oh, we have somebody who'd like to speak.
Yes, come on up, Crystal.
Hi, good evening. I'm Crystal Garcia. I'm the Community Affairs Manager for the City of Yukon for OG&E. And yes, Councilmember Selby, you are correct. And so I did want to just kind of maybe elaborate a little bit, because I think the ordinance, unless you're familiar, could maybe be misleading or confusing. And so thank you for the opportunity to do so. And so I'll just be really brief. In short, what this agreement is, it's a continuation of an agreement that's already in place. And so it does happen every 25 years, and it essentially allows us access to public right-of-ways to be able to service and maintain our infrastructure. We are able to do so, you know, our priority is to take care of our customers and to take care of our grid. And so this franchise agreement allows us to do so quickly and efficiently, keeping the power on for everyone as best as we can. In return for this, we do give all of our municipalities a 3% franchise fee. That is a flat fee across all of our territories. It is non-negotiable, so nobody's paying more or less. It is fair across the board. On top of that, though, I did want to say that we also give municipalities about 0.5% of 0.5 of a percent based on the previous year's usage and free service. And so for the city of Yukon, for the most recent data available, 2023 through 2024, that equaled about $108,000, a little bit more than $108,000 in free service, and that is used for your streetlight accounts, public buildings used by the city, things like that. As was mentioned, what this is not a vote to either vote OG&E out of Yukon. We service the city of Yukon because of how municipality territories and boundaries are written out. This is our service, and this is our service area, and we have enjoyed. We love being here. We love investing in the community. We do so in various ways, and we want to be able to continue to do that. And so this is not a vote to remove OG&E or anybody else in. This is not a vote for increasing or decreasing customer rates. That is managed by the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, and this is not. This will not result in any higher taxes. So, nothing from the customer level should be impacted. What is impacted is again just access and our ability to take care of our infrastructure, and then obviously this is a partnership with municipalities. We cannot do our job without a great relationship, and we hope we've been a great partner. And so, being able to vote for this really just allows us to be able to do that well. So I feel like there was another point that I was going to make, but if you all have any questions, please let us know. A vote no, it does not happen very often. In fact, it's only ever happened once, and that is currently still in litigation. We are required by the Oklahoma Constitution not only to have these franchise elections, but to have a signed franchise agreement. And so a vote no then requires litigation and conversations to be had to figure out how we can make that a yes, but it does have to go to a public vote. So the council today is voting just to put it on the ballot in August. We would love to have done it sooner, but just with the way timings work out, that is just not possible. And so the current franchise agreement does expire in October, and so hopefully the August timeline allows us to not only, give us the time. We want our voters to go out and to vote yes for this, but to do so in a way that they understand what it is that they're voting for, and so that allows us the opportunity to do that. But also, as far as the cost of it, OG&E covers the cost of this election.
Oh,
All
good.
of the,
Okay, I
all
did
of
not
the
know that.
costs, about any cost associated with this election is covered 100% by OG&E.
Okay,
So, any other questions?
thank you. OG&E is a good partner with us, and we want to keep you around.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Garcia. Any other discussion on this item?
I just want to Stephanie Bird, on 515 Maple. I just want to publicly thank Crystal. I reached out to OG&E yesterday wanting this explained to me, and they did call me back and she explained it. And once she did, everything really made sense and how important this is. I mean, we don't want poles blown down. And it's Sunday at 3 a.m. Nobody can give you a permit till after 8 o'clock Monday morning. So it is really something that's useful, and the money's good too.
Thank
It
you,
comes
Ms.
back
Bird.
to us.
I
Thank you,
thought
Ms.
I
Bird.
explained it to you. Did I not do it well?
No,
I'm sorry.
You did, but you didn't. Well, my brain wanted more answers.
Okay, all right. That's right. Don't say any more. That's okay. That's right. Yep.
Any other discussion on this item? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll rewind and go back to item 7. We'll have discussion and possible action regarding traffic operations, safety, and traffic planning along the Garth Brooks Boulevard corridor, including but not limited to traffic signaling and pedestrian crosswalk considerations at Andrew Drive, left-hand turn movements on the south half of Garth Brooks, evaluation of the posted speed limit on Garth Brooks Boulevard, and direction the city manager and city staff is deemed appropriate. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
We'll begin this discussion. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to take it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Any discussion? I've heard from several constituents in my ward, and at their urging and request, I ensured that we had an opportunity to discuss this at length. And I think that the broader discussion around the Garth Brooks corridor is it's increased. I mean, obviously we're having construction right now, but it's increasing in traffic flow, and the number of vehicles that are on it on a daily basis is probably a little bit more than originally was planned when they put in the 4-lane road. I think in particular around the left-hand turns and around the tight spacing around intersections can, from time to time, especially rush hour times, it can become, challenging and dangerous with visibility and with cars entering that roadway. I know that our master plan talks a little bit about the number of curb cuts on Garth Brooks, and that's been refreshed and updated from time to time, but just wanted to open up the discussion for both community members and the council.
I'd like to talk about the traffic signal at Andrews Drive. I believe we have a representative here that would like, or not a citizen who'd like to talk about that.
Stephen Jones, 1033 Montreal Drive. We've talked a little bit about this. The stoplight was removed. And I understand that the flow of traffic there, right, on Garth Brooks Boulevard going north and southbound. But if you had spent any time at that stoplight, you would see that it didn't just arbitrarily change, right? It took 2 or 3 cars to pile up at a lengthy time to get out of that, but we were able to get out of there safely, right? With that being said, pedestrians back in the back there at the group home, they use that crosswalk multiple times a day. Once that was removed, it was like Frogger, right? Watching those guys go across there, my heart dropped a couple times. Also would like to point out not just the convenience and the safety of the citizens that live back there, but the patrons that go to the shops there and the hotels. They do that out of convenience, getting off the highway there to go to Brahms or to go southbound. It's really challenging to get out of there right now, right? The road is the intersection is constantly blocked, even though there's signs there. It's not being enforced. People are constantly speeding through that construction zone. Some of the things that I would also like to point out, through this road construction, we're gonna have a lot better flow, right? People are gonna be able to get off of I-40 getting on to Garth Brooks Boulevard. We went from 1 1/4 of a lane there, we're going to 3. That's gonna help. Most of that traffic, if you sit there during rush hour, it's going southbound, right? Like Brian was saying a minute ago, if you sat at that intersection or even on Garth Brooks Boulevard, you would see that a lot going southbound. That road Garth Brooks Boulevard's traffic is blocked up and bottlenecked up there because people are trying to get on I-40, right? This road construction is going to help with that, widening that road, lengthening the turning lane to get on I-40, and then you'll see that if you were to spend any time there, you would see that the sinking of the lights, not the Andrews lights, the light coming off the highway and the light on the south side, right there going on and off the highway, and the light where right there at the hospital, right? You would see that wasn't linked right. And then you would go further down, coming north and southbound, and I've been there even yesterday. You got a person that's stopping to try to make an unprotected left-hand turn, and there's 30 cars behind them. First going down to the stoplight, they'd rather turn right there because it can, right? Why not put that stoplight back there? See what happens after road construction. Focus on the southbound. We have supporting, service roads, I guess is what you would call it, in the Lowe's and Target parking lots, access roads, I should say, that would support pushing people down to, instead of making an unprotected left-hand turn there, push people down to the stoplights without having to jump through the parking lots illegally. Coming out of my neighborhood, right now, it's crazy, right? To go out to Hawley, you really can't get out. It's a right hand. To make that a right-hand turn would be ludicrous, because then I would have to go back down to 10th Street, then go back down to Garth Brooks Boulevard. We're dumping more traffic. To make coming out of Andrews a right-hand turn would be ludicrous, because then we're just making a big right-hand turn and a right-hand turn and a right-hand turn. And then if the solution is just to put people back into the neighborhood, I drive an F-250 truck. It's already crazy to get through there. It's a great neighborhood. That's one of the reasons why I bought there very intentionally, not only because of the access that I can get on the highway, I travel a lot, but also the established neighborhood. That being said, there are a lot of people that park on streets there. I drive a big truck. Sometimes I have my boat on, sometimes I have other trailers on, and to push me back through through the whole neighborhood, it's crazy. If you've been down Somerton right now, there are people there that are actually putting out signs to slow people down. And that was before this construction and the light was removed. So I'd like you to take all that in consideration, not just my concerns and my ease, but also everybody that lives in that area, and then the patrons that visit that area and service that area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Uh-huh. With another one?
My name is Terry Metcalf. I've lived in Yukon my whole life. 10 years ago,
Ms. Metcalf, can you give us your street address, please?
it's 605 John F. Grodel.
Thank you.
10 years ago, the light was taken out. I don't know why. I think it was construction to make the turn lane to go pull onto Andrews. At that time, the citizens didn't like that either, and we got it put back in. Since this, I thought this was a temporary situation because of the construction, which makes sense. But then I found out the last meeting that it was not, that it was permanent. And I'd just like to know, before the decision was made to take the light out, did you guys, what happened? I mean,
We didn't make that decision, ma'am. The council didn't make that decision.
okay. And then I just have something I'd like to read to you. I and many others in our community have witnessed firsthand the dangerous consequences of the city's decision to remove the stoplight at the intersection near Garth Brooks and Andrews. The decision has led to a significant increase in traffic accidents, putting the lives of drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists at risk. Since the removal, local data, which is from the police station here in Yukon, have recorded a notable rise in collisions. Drivers are often confused about the right-of-way, resulting in misunderstandings that lead to collisions. Without the stoplight, crossing the street as a pedestrian or a bicycle has become perilous, impossible. It's dangerous enough in a vehicle. A stoplight isn't just a traffic control measure, it signifies safety and order, guiding vehicles and pedestrians effectively through a busy junction. Before its removal, vehicular movement was regulated smoothly, pedestrian crossings were safer, and incidents of road rage were minimal. Now, traffic pulls up into the intersection, blocking it completely, making it impossible to make a left out of Brahms or Andrews. The absence of this crucial signal has overshadowed our streets with uncertainty and disorder. After we were here for the last meeting, that was not you guys, it was the other bunch. The very next day, I had a wreck at that intersection. I was pulling out of Andrews, making a left, going toward Lowe's. I will tell you that is my very first wreck. I can also tell you it would have never happened if the light would have not been taken out. And I have a real problem with that. To be my age and not have an accident, a collision, is pretty impressive, wouldn't you say? Mm-hmm. I consider myself an excellent driver. So if I have had a wreck there, that tells you the situation the city has created taking out the light. We call upon you to listen to our community's plea and reinstall the stoplight at this high-risk intersection. It is imperative to prioritize public safety and mitigate these frequent traffic accidents. Installing the stoplight once again will restore order and provide peace of mind to all who travel through this area. Your support is crucial. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Metcalf. Can I ask one question, Ms. Metcalf?
Yes.
First, I'm very sorry to hear about your accident.
Thank you.
It's not something that's very disappointing for me to hear about, and I hope that you're okay physically, and I hope.
Oh,
others-
I'm okay. The other lady was okay, but my insurance is going to go up.
I
You
understand.
know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
Would you be willing to share the traffic data that you just discussed?
I planned on bringing it tonight, and I will. I will bring it back.
Okay, my email address is public record, or your-
Okay, I'll be happy to.
I would love to see that.
Then I will tell you the problem I've run into, because I wanted to get the date that the actual lights were bagged. Nobody seems to know that date. The only thing I was able to get from the engineer was a picture that had the lights in it that was bagged on August 7th.
Well, we can identify that for you, ma'am.
I mean, I would like to know the exact date.
We will.
It's probably when the construction started that you bagged the lights, because that will give us a more accurate accounting of how many wrecks have happened.
If you wouldn't mind sharing that information with me.
Absolutely.
And we can follow up on it. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
But I'm not sure they were bagged. Mr. Montgomery, would you tell us that Mr. Montgomery is my amazing ward traffic commissioner who's getting ready to retire, and I don't know what we're going to do because he has such a wealth of knowledge about traffic. Tell us what you talked about at the traffic commission.
A little bit of background on the previous bagging of the signals. That was done under a prior city manager, City Manager Bottoms. And he bagged them to probably see if they could be taken down at that time. Now, he followed the procedures within the manual of uniform traffic control devices at that time, and it has not changed under the current edition that's out there now, the 2024 edition. If the bags were put on the lights, that'd have been fine, okay? And if a proper study was done, okay, that'd be one thing. But my question came back at our traffic commission meeting back a month ago. Were the people around that signal and behind in the residential area informed of that decision? Don't know. So,
Were you informed? No. Were you informed? And is that procedure?
that's normally procedure, to let the public know that they're being bagged for a study to see if they need to remain or to stay in place. So, believe me, first time I went through there, I noticed that they were gone. I was thinking, okay, maybe they were moving for construction. But at the same time, I didn't even notice, but somebody else reminded me that the foundations had been completely removed. And by completely removed, I mean they only probably go down 4 to 6 inches, remove a portion of that foundation and cover it up. So there were just a lot of concerns in what happened there. And the people that are from that area have talked to me about it, and I understand their concerns. Now, I know before the construction, the signals were coordinated, but that, Andrews, can be a problem. Can it be coordinated with the rest? It can be if the consultant does his due diligence in trying to, but it still causes a problem. But it doesn't mean to remove that signal just because of that. It's just the consultants that work on that type of stuff can find a way. So, but again, I've heard their concerns, and if any of y'all heard the last meeting and me expressing my concerns, and in some ways, kind of got on my high horse a little bit. But because of my time working in the department and dealing with these issues and other issues of traffic, I consider it and listen to people about it before anything else happens.
What would the traffic commission have done if it had come before you guys?
Excuse me again?
If this had come before you guys, what would you have done as the traffic commission?
I would have probably recommended bagging them, leaving them in place. But of course, now you got construction going, so bagging them and then waiting until after construction, let traffic flow through and see, the results of that study. Probably the signal would have been, recommended to stay in place at that point.
You said there was some talk about maybe doing a pedestrian walk. I'm really against that because people in Oklahoma don't stop. I mean, when I'm in Chicago, I walk right out in front of cars because I know they're going to stop. But here in Oklahoma, people don't do that. They think they have the right of way. And then you told me about a hawk system. This is people will never follow this one.
Yeah, you'll recall afterwards, it's a 3-signal head, and what it does is it remains dark with the pedestrian crossing through there. You have a button on either side that a pedestrian will push. The first indication the driver gets is a yellow light telling them be ready. We've got pedestrians wanting to cross. Once that runs for a few seconds, then it goes to a double red, means traffic completely stops at that point. At a certain time during that walk cycle, it'll go to a flashing red, double red, meaning stop if there's a pedestrian in the crosswalk. If not, proceed with caution. Then it goes completely dark again. till it's
just think
activated.
I just think that would be too confusing.
It is, but it wouldn't work
Yeah.
there because
Yeah.
of the traffic.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Like,
But
oh my
it
gosh, what do I
wouldn't-
do? Go,
Yeah.
stop?
That's something that wouldn't work there because of the traffic. Now, the places that in Oklahoma that have been used have been predominantly around university settings. We have tremendous amount of students
And you're going
crossing.
slow.
Supposed to be. I won't say that they do. But they, in those areas, in that situation, they work really well. But out here, no, they would not work. Because of the way Andrew's situated, with the off-ramp at 40 westbound, it'd be a nightmare at that point. So anyway,
I just feel like we went about it the wrong way. I don't know why it was removed. It didn't come before us, but I'd like to recommend that it go back before the Traffic Commission and we do a study there rather than just saying that it's removed. I mean, I think the procedure said we should have bagged, done the study, and then decided.
Yeah.
I'd like to recommend that.
I make a motion that we engage the staff to conduct to engage Traffic Commission, any necessary resources to conduct traffic study to include Andrew Drive, but also to include the broader Garth Brooks corridor as we're coming out of this traffic construction, and it's been ongoing for because we did a resurface of one piece. But I make a motion that we engage staff to do that Andrew Drive and the broader Garth Brooks corridor to include some modern recommendations with Mr. Montgomery's expertise, the rest of the Traffic Commission's expertise, for them to review it and to make those recommendations to council. Do I have a second?
Mayor, before you get a second.
One second, Mr. Montgomery. We have a motion. We
second.
can engage in discussion.
Okay,
The
go ahead.
motion's been seconded. Please.
Okay. Like I said, the study that we're talking there for Andrews, we have on our agenda item for next week
Beautiful.
to bring that and vote on it and then send it on to the city council.
You already a
don't
motion to conduct a study, or you have a
Yes.
study?
No, to conduct that study.
Beautiful.
Okay? But as I was telling.
But does he
Coun-
need to now?
No, I like his idea. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
it's on
he
the
likely has put more thought into it than I have in terms of the scope of it.
Well, it was another member of the commission that made that recommendation, but it was good. I was telling Councilwoman Selby about this. Unfortunately, I have scheduled a vacation that week. So hopefully the rest of the members will meet and
I'm sure they
approve
will.
that. If not, well, I'll be back the next month and we'll
Yeah.
get it taken care of then,
Okay.
at that point.
We have a motion. It's been seconded.
Thank
Thank
Mr.
you,
Montgomery.
Mr. Montgomery.
Who serves on our Traffic Commission, has also opined on that. Any other discussion on this motion that's on the table? Ms. Burdine.
I just want to thank you all for doing due diligence on this matter. You all have done a good job with safety issues, sidewalks, new light intersections, things like this. And this issue is just as important as the rest of them. And that close, out-of-town visitors going to the hotel to stay. I mean, this truly is a safety issue. I know a lot of citizens think that light's a joke, but it's really not. And I appreciate you all taking this matter so serious.
Thank you, Ms. Burdine. Ms. Metcalf.
Terry Metcalf. I work at the Hampton Inn, and I can't tell you how many guests come in and say how difficult it is to get in there and get out. There's like, is there another way we can try to get out and get to the interstate? They're like, we cannot turn that way. And I've talked to several businesses around there, and they're having the same thing. People come in complaining about it. So it's not just the people that live behind there, it's people who go to businesses. I just wanted to add that.
I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other
And
comments?
guys, this is how it works. You guys have concerns and you bring them here and we get to listen and actually do something to try to fix it together. So, good democracy.
Great. Any other comments on this issue? Seeing no more comments, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Shriver,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. Councilwoman Selby, I plan to split this one into two pieces. Is that okay? On number 8?
We don't have a new appointee.
But we do need to accept Ken's resignation, correct?
right,
Okay, let me
right.
take up the first half of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, the second half, if anybody wants to volunteer,
Yeah, that's a good time to advertise.
see Jordan.
At this time, we'll have discussion and possible action to approve the resignation of Ken Smith as Ward 2 representative and chairman of the Board of Adjustments. Do I have a second? Or do I hear a motion? Sorry.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item? I just would weigh in and appreciate Ken Smith's longstanding service to the Board of Adjustments, and we wish him well in his future endeavors.
Yes, he has been a wonderful representative, and I appreciate all that he's done, and I'm desperately seeking a new person.
All right. Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll have discussion and possible action to approve ordinance number 1489, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Yukon, Oklahoma, by amending Chapter 110, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 4, Rules of the Road, Division 9, Reckless Driving, Driving while intoxicated and negligent homicide, Section 110-389, Unlawful use of cellular telephone, adding subsection E pursuant to 47 OS Chapter 11, Article 9, Section 11-901E of the Oklahoma statutes, and by amending Division 10, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Section 110-421, Parking Areas for Physically Disabled Persons, amending Section 3 pursuant to 47 OS Chapter 11, Section 11-1007B1 of the Oklahoma statutes, providing for severability and declaring an emergency. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Just by matter of comment, this, as I asked the question on Friday when I got back into town, this is essentially a cleanup on the recommendation of our municipal judge and city court clerk and city attorney to match our municipal statutes to state statutes that went into effect in November. So a little bit of a cleanup. About 4 months of time passed between when this went into effect at the state level and when we're getting into effect at the municipality. Any other discussion or questions? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll have discussion and possible action to approve the emergency clause of ordinance number 1489 for the preservation of peace, health, safety, and the public good for of the city of Yukon and the inhabitants thereof, that the provisions of this ordinance be put into full force and effect by reason of compliance with Title 47 OS Chapter 11, Article 9, Section 11-901E, and Chapter 11, Section 11-1007B1 of the Oklahoma statutes. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And just by, matter of comment here, the emergency clause here needs to go into effect so that our municipal code is in compliance and in conformity with the Oklahoma statute. Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. This time we'll have discussion and possible action to approve ordinance 1490, an ordinance extending the corporate limits of the city of Yukon, Oklahoma, and designating an area south of Northwest 23rd Street, north of Northwest 10th Street, east of South Yukon Parkway, and west of the Kilpatrick Turnpike, being a part of the northwest quarter of Section 27, Township 12 North, Range 5 west of the Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma, for such extension, determining that the area for such extension is considered to be within the corporate limits of the city of Yukon, specifying that the area for such extension is deemed to be in the general commercial zoning district, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing that if any part or portions hereof are invalid or ineffective, remaining portions shall not be affected, and providing for an effective date. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on this item? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. This time we'll have discussion and possible action to approve ordinance 1491, an ordinance of the city of Yukon, Oklahoma, diminishing the corporate limits of the city of Yukon and de-annexing a portion of the southwest quarter SE/4 of Section 21, Township 12, North Range 6, west of the Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma, repealing ordinances in conflict, declaring severability, and setting an effective date. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? By way of comment, I'll just mention that both of these were taking action here March the 3rd, and it's expected that Oklahoma City takes action at their later council meeting later in the month of March, which both have to occur in order for this all to go into effect.
And the effective date would be May 1st.
May the 1st. Very good. All right, seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll have discussion and possible action to approve the request for proposal for Taylor Park fencing project surrounding the soccer fields and to authorize city staff to proceed with the RFP process as recommended by the Parks and Rec Director. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? This, goes along with the 2 new soccer fields that are in the budget for this year that the park maintenance and the public works teams have been hard at work in creating and expanding our soccer program. Over 1,000 kids participate in soccer in the city of Yukon, and 900 of those are, by last count, are actually residents within city limits, which is quite possibly, it's the most successful sports program that we have in the city of Yukon. Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll have discussion and possible action regarding a 1-year agreement with Resimplify for commercial building and site data beginning on March 1st, 2026 in the amount of $5,000 as recommended by the Economic Development Director. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
Would you please explain this?
I can't explain it, but I'll ask Damien to.
Please.
You knew what I was like.
Good evening, Council. Damien Denmark, Economic Development Director. So Resimplify is a software AI-based subscription where we'll take essentially our GIS mapping that's provided by Development Services and be able to identify commercial properties that are available within Yukon proper. We currently have that software on our website for YITA, on our yukonok.gov portion, but that it incorporates all of what's called Yukon, so it includes Yukon in name only as well as Yukon proper. Since it's a free subscription, they are not willing to change the data sets, so this new company will not only manage and upload our GIS shape files, but they will also take care of any RFI requests for site. If there are any incentives, so if they're in a TIF district, it'll show that, any connections with OG&E, any utility lines, and so on and so forth, they'll be able to incorporate that, and they'll take care of everything. So all the updates, any information of landowner, they'll be able to put all that onto that site. And we, as the Economic Development Department or city staff, do not have to maintain that, and we'll be able to embed that on our website. Another caveat to that, so they're going to provide us a subscription of CoStar. So if there are any realtors in here, so CoStar for an agency is roughly about $30,000 a year. And so they are going to provide us with one license for an additional $1,400. So it's included in that $5,000. So CoStar will give us access to identifying gap analysis and rent triple net within commercial properties within Yukon proper. So we're able to speak and have those conversations with developers when they're coming in with ridiculous numbers on some projects, so we can have a kind of ground level conversation.
Any other questions or discussion there?
So this really,
Ms. Burdine, please approach the
you don't
podium.
have to go anymore, do you? No, this okay. So this really is what we've been needing to do all along.
Everything that Damien's doing is what we needed to do all along.
Okay, so this is when back 6 months ago, when we said we need to bring everything up to date, this is it, because this, I mean, that makes so much more sense from what he
Yeah.
just said to what we.
I would just say you just go and sit in Damien's office as long as he'll let you stay there, and you'll see like some amazingness happen.
You better watch what you say.
As long as the mayor's in the office as well, so we can definitely.
There is
make that
chocolate nearby there, so I do
I don't buy, regardless of what you might hear.
I visit Andrea's desk where there's chocolate. All right. Any other discussion on this item? Thank you, Damien. All right. Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. This time we'll have discussion and possible action regarding a proposal from ETC Institute to conduct an economic and community survey for the city of Yukon in the amount of $14,500 as recommended by the Economic Development Director. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
Damien, can I ask you to come up one more time? My biggest curiosity, can you briefly for ourselves and for our citizens describe the scope of this this particular kind of survey?
And how it'll differ from the one we did 2.5 years ago.
Okay, so
That might be more difficult.
yes.
Because, I mean, we spent a lot of money to do that one 2.5 years ago. So
Okay.
tell me how.
No, so for sure. So ETC site survey, so they work with communities across the country and they're able to really tell the story. So we can prioritize services, what our citizens really value in the community, whether it's public safety, whether it's the services we provide, just really engage of what's happening in our city. And then we're able to tell that story from an economic development perspective. And I'll give you an example. If citizens in certain category between 27 to 35, what they value most within the city of Yukon is public safety. What they least value is public works. And so we're able to really capture that data and showcase exactly what's happening, what our citizens value the most within our community. And so what ETC does, we give them our GIS mapping, that shape file, and then they acquire all those addresses within Yukon proper. And so then they target those addresses with mailers with an incentive to complete the mailer, and then they just fill out those mailers and send them back. And then if they don't fill them out, so they'll send them a postcard reminder to do so. One of the most fascinating things about the timing of this survey is that you may know we're in the middle of our Parks and Rec master plan. And so the company that's completing the Parks and Rec master plan has worked with ETC. And so they're excited as well because they're going to take some of the information that they gather from the public input sessions and really reformat the questions for Parks and Rec department to hone in exactly what was captured from those public input sessions for the Park and Rec master plan.
I just know we sent those out, and we gave them also a link on Facebook and a link in email, and then we had town hall meetings, and we got 15% back,
Well, I think response.
20%.
Yeah, I think response rates may be low, but
Right.
what's interesting about this approach that I'm hearing is it's scientifically based, because sometimes if you put a Facebook link out there, what you get back is not a sample of your actual residents. It could be a sample of your residents that are on Facebook. It could be a sample of people that think they live in Yukon that are on Facebook. I think this approach where they're actually taking the GIS data and getting to that actual, like, what this person lives in Yukon. They live in city limits. We are going to get there, even if it ends up being only 10% or 15% that respond to the 1,000 mailers that they do to our 75. If they did, give or take, 10 to 15% mailer to 27,000 residents, but that's 7,500 households. Once they break that number down, they'll be able to give us some stats and say, hey, this is the scientific method.
Correct. Now, I did go to school in Arkansas, so all the math you did was a little off-putting. It's
okay.
But I do agree. And so another fascinating part of that, so part of the pricing agreement, they'll be able to have a virtual presentation. So we then can convert that into a Facebook Live, a YouTube Live, where we can have a virtual town hall. I think internally we'd like to work with staff and departments so they can be prepared on what the data brings from this survey. But there is a possibility to do that as well, to make the citizens well aware as to what their peers feel in the community. Just from an economic development standpoint, when I attend trade shows or have conversations or send mailers out to brokers, I want them to know that 75% of the citizens in Yukon value the services that we provide as a city versus what other cities. I want to know why people choose to live, work, play, and enjoy, grow their family here within Yukon proper. And then that survey is going to really tell that story. So we showcase that from an economic development, from a marketing communication that helps with budget sessions, because we're then able to allocate those monies for that specific department that it's getting the praise or the needs from the community.
Because I'm all for surveys. I love a good survey. I love numbers. I like a good graph, but I want something done with it. And so our last one that we did something. We tried to get a geo bond passed because we listened to what the people wanted, and it didn't pass, unfortunately. But that's what I want to know. Are we going to do something with that data?
But I think in the past, right, 2.5 years ago, when we did a survey, that people said, "Gosh, we want our streets fixed," and then they turn around and say, "Let's do a geo bond to fix the streets." The challenge is there was $54 million in the bank. So why do you do a bond to ask people to raise their property taxes, raise their cost of living to fix their street when you got $54 million in the bank? Let's fix the streets. And that's what we did through over 8 phases of street repairs in your neighborhoods. You guys have all received panels of streets that have been fixed in your neighborhoods, and it's spectacular. And guess what? We still have a lot of money in the bank. Let's fix some more streets. If you find a cracked street or sidewalk, send us a picture. We got 8 cracked sidewalks from Miss Archibald, and it was wonderful. And those are now on a list. She's right here in council chambers. They're on a list. They're in our priority list. We want more of them. Send them in.
But I want something done with that survey, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll use that data as well. So in YIDA meeting before the council meeting, we discussed the downtown master plan. And so guiding the future of what downtown looks like, identifying our anchor, identifying the corridors within downtown. So a lot of that public feedback would go into that. It is almost time for us to update the comprehensive plan. And so we'll use some of that results from that to go into the comprehensive plan. I hate speaking for development services because that's more work for them. So Dan, I'm sorry in advance, but we're going to use this data over the next few years and accomplish so much. We're at ground zero of how we operate in economic development as a city. We need the data. We need to be able to tell the story. So I can attest that when we get this data, we are going to use it. We are going to find our strategic answers in the community, and we're going to provide growth and opportunity for Yukon to grow.
Okay.
I just want to add, could one of those questions
Miss Birdeye, please approach the podium.
Could
Everybody
one
at
of
home
those
wants to hear you.
Okay. Yes, I'm sure they do. Just kidding. Could one of those questions be ask how citizens would like to fund things? Because that last thing, the property tax was the worst idea ever to fund that. A 1/2 cent sales tax for 5 years would have paid for everything, and it would have passed.
And what's even better is not to tax anybody. Let's pay for the stuff with the wonderful revenues that we have and continuing to
Well,
lift.
true, but
lift all of our-
sometimes tax dollars have to
Absolutely.
be required. So a thoughtful process on how to do that.
And we did ask in that survey. and we asked how people wanted it to be funded, because the thing was, if you add a sales tax, it's not just our residents that are paying for it, it's visitors, so they'll help shoulder
Well,
that.
I've helped with every
Yeah.
MAPS project, and I'm glad I have.
Yeah, and, and so those are good things, and that's good information. Placer's also a great one, but that's a whole nother discussion. Sorry, just wanted to get that in there.
Yeah, that is a whole different discussion, but to answer your question, so each department head will have the opportunity to formulate a certain amount of questions that will go on the survey. Now, ETC will clean up those questions to make sure the survey is aligned from every department going forward. And then we can adjust that into the survey. So depending on which resident gets the survey, because it's all randomized, we don't have any control. We're not selling anyone's addresses, so they acquire those through USPS. We'll be able to add those, and people will be able to select those
Yeah.
and give feedback.
Right.
No, so only active residential addresses. Yeah, so no commercial properties. They will go to multifamily addresses, but no commercial or rural mailboxes.
I just hope we get a bunch back.
Yeah,
Thank you, Damien.
a pleasure.
Any other discussion on this item? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll have discussion and possible action to approve ordinance number 1488, an ordinance amending the employee retirement system, defined contribution plan for the city of Yukon, Oklahoma, providing retirement benefits for eligible employees of the city of Yukon, Oklahoma, providing for participant loans, and that's the key part of this, providing for employer pickup of required contributions, providing for repealer and severability, and declaring an emergency. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this item? I had a lot of questions on this, and I shouldn't have had so many questions, because all it was doing is providing the ability for participants to take a 50% loan. That's the only thing that's changing. I thought it was more involved than that. So I asked a bunch of questions, but it was really simple. Any other discussion? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll have discussion and possible action to approve the emergency clause of ordinance number 1488 for the preservation of peace, health, and safety and the public good for the city of Yukon and the inhabitants thereof, and that the provisions of this ordinance be put into full effect immediately, full force and effect immediately. I'll make that motion.
I'll
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
And this one, I think the key here around the emergency clause is that our employees, it's not, I don't have the exact number of employees. Tamara probably has it on the number that are on the contribution plan.
On the defined contribution?
Yeah,
There's like I'd say 270.
200.
No.
Oh, active.
Active. No, wait, okay, I'm sorry.
How many will this affect?
I think it's,
On the defined contribution plan, okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think, there's about 100.
yeah, about 150 people.
I'm sorry.
It's basically everybody that's employed by our city aside from police and fire, give or take. There's about 10 people that are still on the defined benefit plan, that 20 people on defined benefit that are active. Yeah, okay. So give or take 150 people, and this is really critical because this modernizes our plan. Most other 401k, this is a 401a plan. Most of those allow for participants to take a loan. This will allow them to do that and goes into effect immediately. Any other discussion on this item or questions? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll take up our visitors section, visitors comment section, prior to these executive sessions that we need to go into. Do we have any visitors that would like to make a comment? If you do, please approach the podium. State your name and address. You're requested to limit your presentation to 3 minutes. Any item being presented must pertain to the City of Yukon business. The Oklahoma Open Meetings Act prohibits City Council from taking official action on requests made during this portion of the agenda unless otherwise noted on the agenda. Do we have any visitors that would like to make a comment?
You've got this.
Juliana Shriver.
Rick Shriver.
136 East Parkland Drive. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. We're here today not as concerned citizens, but as a mother and stepfather who has experienced a devastating loss. My son, Kevin, forever 31, passed away on December 1st, 2025 as a result of kratom use. Like many others, Kevin believed kratom was safe because it was legal and easily accessible. It is sold openly in stores, often marketed as a natural supplement for pain, anxiety, or energy. There were no clear warnings, no regulations, and no safeguards to protect people from the very real dangers associated with it. We did not even know Kevin was using kratom until just days before his death. His toxicology screen was clean because kratom does not show up on standard drug tests. By the time we understood what was happening, it was too late. Kratom is not harmless. It can be addictive, it builds tolerance, meaning users need more and more to feel the same effects. It impacts the liver and other vital organs. It can cause withdrawal, depression, anxiety, in some cases, fatal complications. Yet it is being sold in our community with little oversight and minimal public awareness. We are here today because we do not want another family in Yukon to experience what ours has. No parent should have to bury their child because of a substance that is freely sold without proper regulation or education. We understand that banning a product is a serious decision, and we don't take this lightly. But when something poses a clear risk to public health, especially to our young people and vulnerable individuals, we have a responsibility to act. Many cities and states across the country have already restricted or banned kratom after seeing the harm it causes. Yukon has the opportunity to be proactive rather than reactive. We can choose to protect our residents before more lives are affected. We are asking you to please consider taking action to ban the sale of kratom within our city limits, or at a minimum, implement strong regulations and warning requirements to ensure people understand the risk. Kevin was kind, generous, and full of life. He was a father of a 2-year-old daughter. He was an uncle. He was a cousin who was loved by all, and we miss him. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us tonight. We appreciate your willingness to consider this important issue.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Shriver.
Do I give an address? Or?
Just your name and address, please, and then.
Kimberly Gibson, 301 Point Parkway Boulevard. Okay. My name is Kimberly Gibson, and I'm Zachary Alexander Young's mother. Zach was born on October 15th, 1993, and he passed away on February 5th, 2021. He was 27 years old. It took 6 months before I knew how my child died, 6 months of waiting for answers, 6 months of living in shock. I am now a member of a club no parent wants to join. Zach was dealing with pain from a broken shoulder and anxiety. He began buying kratom from convenience stores and online because it was marketed as natural and safe. His toxicology report confirmed mitragynine, the active compound in kratom, in his system. He was also taking other medications not knowing that they were interacting with kratom. Each of these substances can slow the central nervous system. When combined, they can suppress breathing, affect heart rhythm, and become deadly. Kratom acts on opioid receptors, yet is sold in brightly colored packages with little to no warning about dangerous drug interactions. My son believed it was safe, but it ultimately wasn't safe. The combination of substances in his system led to seizures and a cardiac event that ended his life. If products like this remain accessible, they should at minimum carry clear warning labels about respiratory depression and drug interactions, especially for young people managing pain or anxiety. Also, in conclusion, since sharing Zach's story, I've heard many people who had no idea kratom could interact dangerously with other substances. That lack of awareness is exactly why I'm here. Many people assume that if something is sold legally in a store, it must be safe. There is very little public education about the risk and drug interactions, so I came here tonight asking that kratom be regulated or banned. I do have an ongoing petition to get kratom banned in Oklahoma. I appreciate your time and thank you for letting me be my son's voice, because Zach's life mattered and his death mattered too.
Thank you, Ms. Gibson.
Thank you.
Good evening. Y'all know me as Jody Harlan. I live at 426 Poplar Avenue. And I've come before the council before with concerns about the impact on safe and abundant water as a result of the proposed data center. And we know that there's a water study in progress. And so my comments tonight, new information related to that. According to a recent article in Frontier, I emailed you all more details in the last few days. There are at least 10 new proposed data centers under construction or waiting for approval, including the Yukon Center. What the article revealed is that a number of cities are negotiating with the data center companies for infrastructure upgrades, such as new wastewater treatment plants, which to my knowledge, Yukon has not done. The article also talked about 4 proposed Oklahoma data centers that are going to decrease their water use with dry systems, which use air to cool servers, or hybrid cooling or closed loop systems to save water. Why is that important? The National Drought Information System reports 3.7 million Oklahomans live in drought areas now. The Frontier quotes the Oklahoma Water Resources Board that water demand in the state is expected to grow by 18% over the next 20 years, fueled by population growth and urban expansion. It doesn't include the water demands of at least 10 new data centers. I've asked before, how much water is our center going to use? How much water will we get from effluent that comes through our water treatment plant? What's the difference and where will we get that water? And what about demands for more water from our population use and from the data center use? So the Google data center and Pryor used more than 1.1 billion gallons of water in 1 year and only discharged 253 million gallons back into the Neosho River. The rest of the water evaporated after it cooled the servers. So that means the water demand not only is a threat to Yukon, but to Oklahomans downstream who have reduced water access because it will evaporate. And that sounds like a lot of water, 1.1 billion. Mid-America Industrial Park, which has a permit, will withdraw 27.375 billion gallons of water a year. It's important to know how much the Yukon Center is going to use, where we're going to get it from. So I just wanted to bring that information and let our audience here and people watching online know this is still an issue we need to be concerned about. The only way that the data center can be changed or blocked is through that water study. And I'm curious to know when that's going to be available, because I sure don't want to miss it. So when will that water center be available?
Thank you, Ms. Harlan. You're familiar that we can't respond during this section. I think you're familiar with that. Any other comments?
You go ahead. No.
Good evening. My name is Paige Indris. I live at 5276 Piedmont Road. I was born and raised here in Yukon. I know that you've heard from 2 grieving mothers about the effects of kratom. I'm here to talk a little bit more about the personal side of things and seeing Kevin. I grew up with Kevin. He was one of my closest friends in high school. He wasn't just someone that I knew. He was one of my best friends. We spent almost every day together at the Ag Barn. He was involved in football. He was an FFA member. He was active in his community. We spent so many times together riding around town and hanging out. We argued like brother and sister, but we really looked out for each other. After high school, we stayed really close. But over time, I began to realize that he was struggling with addiction. We had long, honest, hard conversations about getting him help. Kevin's family fought so hard for him, and Kevin fought too. He went to rehab. He followed the steps. He worked hard to turn his life around. He truly wanted to be sober for his daughter, for his family, and for himself. And he did turn things around. He was trying. Like so many people trying to stay clean, Kevin was told that kratom was a safer alternative, something natural, something legal, and something that could help him stay away from the harder drugs. He truly believed it was helping him, but it wasn't. He was becoming addicted to it, and in the end, it took his life. Kevin left behind a family who never gave up on him, and most importantly, he left behind a precious little girl who now has to grow up without her daddy. That's what kratom did. Losing Kevin broke something in me. It changed how I see addiction, it changed how I see responsibility, and it changed how I see these products being sold openly in our community as if they're harmless. I now see every flag and sign with the huge letters pointing to them saying that, we sell this in our store, come and buy it, and just encouraging people to come and buy it. To some people, kratom is just another item on a shelf at a gas station or a smoke shop. To me, it's the reason my friend will never grow older. It's the reason his daughter will only know him through pictures and stories. And it's the reason his family has an empty chair at holidays. This cause matters to me because I don't want another family in Yukon to lose a loved one to something sold legally and casually. I don't want another family to fight as hard as Kevin's family did, only to lose him to a substance he was told is safe. I understand that some people believe kratom helps them, but the reality is that it's not regulated. People don't truly know what they're putting into their bodies. Selling it in a convenience store sends a message that it's harmless when far too often it isn't. We ban products when they put our community at risk. We regulate substances that harm people. This should be no different. I'm asking you tonight, as leaders of this city, to take a stand, to protect our kids, our neighbors, and our families, and to make Yukon a place where dangerous, addictive substances aren't sitting on shelves like they're no big deal. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
First, I just want to say, I'm just so sorry for your loss. Addiction is such a terrible thing, and it does affect every family. And I understand your pain, and I'm so sorry for you. And it's really hard to say anything after that, but what I do have to say is very serious, because next week, Oklahoma City Council's gonna vote probably on the data center, and all our lives could be getting ready to change. And I just beg of you all to please man up, put emotions aside, and start working with Oklahoma City. I do not want the data center. I haven't talked to anybody in Yukon that wants the data center. If that monster gets built out there, we need to make it as friendly as possible. And that's going to require you all to work and not always get your way and work with Oklahoma City. We have to accept the fact that they surround us on three sides and they are Big Brother. And I don't like it. I don't like it. But that's the facts. And you all know that I've been given some information and kind of know some stuff that's been going on. And I beg of you all to please start working with them. If we're gonna have to do this, which, like I said, I don't want it to happen. I haven't talked to anybody that does, but start acting responsible and listen to what people have to say. And please start bringing the citizens in more and informing us more, and even your fellow city council members of what all's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burdine. Any other comments?
My name's Kevin Multanner. I live at 833 Golden Pond. And I just wanted to say good evening to the council. And I have a little bit of a different perspective on this kratom incident. Rick and Jules are very good friends of my wife and I. And we watched them go through the situation with their son, and it was heartbreaking. And spent about 3 days with them at the hospital, and we and Kevin languished there and then eventually perished. And the sadness and grief that they experienced, we felt as well. And after that, then the funeral, of course, was planned. And we sat down at the funeral, and up until that point, I just felt like, gosh, this has just been the saddest experience I've ever had. And then we're at the funeral, and all of a sudden I'm overcome with anger. And I can't understand it. What am I so mad at? And so I sat down and I was thinking about it, and I said, I'm angry because I don't know anything about this stuff. And it has killed my friend's son. And I'm like, how do I not know anything about it? I'm mad at Rick and Jules because I'm thinking, how do they not know anything about it? How do they not do something about it? And then I'm like, I'm angry at his brothers and sisters. Why do they not know anything about it? Why could they not do anything about this? And then ultimately, then it comes down to, well, what can we do about it? And I'm thinking, well, I wonder how many of you know about Cradle. I didn't know a darn thing about it. There's a dispensary around the corner from me that has it written right on the building. I'd never even noticed it before. And so what I want to see happen is, if we have to get angry about it or whatever we have to do, but government is put in place to protect its citizens. And if there's something that we can do to do that, I think we ought to do it. I think we should ban Cradle. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? This time we'll end our comments section. We'll take up.
Oh, I think Mr. Burris had one.
Okay.
Seems less important now, but we did have man, it's difficult to talk. If you guys would, there's been talk about how we were going to deal with the Yukon Community Support Foundation and the lawsuit pertaining to them. If you would, please do your best to make sure there's an admission of guilt, so that there's articles in the paper where their attorney is saying they'll still be involved in Yukon. They'll still be doing various different activities in Yukon. If you read the forensic audit, it's difficult to read. If you settle the lawsuit without an admission of guilt, then people won't have the responsibility to be responsible for what they've done. So please, in the future, don't settle it unless you get that admission of guilt.
Thank you, Mr. Burris. Any other comments? All right, at this time we'll take up item number 20, and I'll take these up in succession, these items for executive session. First one is...
Can we go ahead and do our comments? Because I'd like to address, can we do ours real quick?
Yes.
Sorry.
At this time we'll have reports from city staff and city officials as sections intended for the staff, city manager, to make announcements, recognitions concerning the municipal body, community matters. It's not intended for the conduct of city business by members of the public body. Mr. Chris, do you have anything, or Caleb, do we have any reports? Thank you. Mr. City Manager, do we have any reports tonight?
None tonight, sir.
Thank you. This time we'll have open up the floor for each council member to say a few words in closing. This item is reserved for announcements, recognitions, etc. It's not intended for the conduct of city business by the members of the public body. Councilmember Selby.
I just want to thank the parents and the family members that spoke. I know that was very difficult for you. I'm very proud of you. I brought Kratom up to the city council several months ago after Kevin died. And it's something that I'm trying at the state level to get banned also. And it's something that we have to, if not get banned, we have to at least get some kind of warning on there for people. So I just hope that we continue this discussion with that. I'd also, if you noticed tonight, Eleanor's not with us. Eleanor has the flu, and I know she doesn't have a computer, so she's not watching us. So if you know Eleanor, please reach out to her and tell her I hope she feels better. I spoke to her today.
Thank you, Councilwoman Selby. Councilmember Zimmerman.
Thank you for sharing. I know that's not easy, but I appreciate it because I know nothing about this stuff and now I want to go home and research it. Thank you.
Councilmember Shriver.
I have a couple things. First, I'd like to give a shout out to the high school heavyweight wrestler, Destry Lewan. He won state over the last week in heavyweight, so that's awesome for us. Secondly, the parents out there who lost their children, the friends, damn, that's hard. I know what addiction is firsthand. I fought it. It's not something I like to announce in public, but I have fought it for years firsthand. Been sober for over 20 years now. My son also fights addiction with kratom, and I can tell you it's serious. It's not fun. Being a parent, the fear every day sucks. The relapses gets old, and the detox makes it even worse. So, sorry for your loss. Thank you for sharing your story.
Vice Mayor Wooten.
I want to thank you for coming up and speaking, everybody. I know that's, I couldn't imagine. And like Mr. Zimmerman said, I'm going to go home and research because I know nothing on this, and I thank you.
And it's not just the kratom, it's the binders these guys are using with them that absolutely makes this deal deadly. It's the Valiums, it's the Xanaxes that they're taking with the kratom. It's just not the kratom. It's the binders that they're using that makes it, makes it absolutely deadly.
I thank you for your time tonight and speaking to us. I appreciate that.
Thank you. This time I'll cover some events that are happening in Yukon. The Kids Trout Fish Out is this Saturday, March the 7th. It runs from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's at Welch Park Pond. There's a additional parking available at Ranchwood Elementary. Grab your poles, bait, and lawn chairs. It's time to get some fish out of that pond. Our Parks and Rec will be putting on door prize drawings. It's obviously been freshly stocked. There's 2 age categories, the iconic race around the pond, and there's also food and drink for sale. I think is there gold trout somewhere in there? Goldfish, something. Yeah, I think Adam might fish it out of there early. I don't know. Then
no
we got
old men first, sir. No old men first.
no old men. Okay, yeah, gotta let the kids have at it. The flashlight Easter egg hunt is on March 27th. It's ages 1 to 10 years old. It's going to be on the City Park football field. That's at 2200 South Holly Avenue. It's a really fun Easter egg hunt in the dark with flashlights. 8 p.m. is ages 1 to 3, 8:15 p.m. ages 4 to 6, and 8:30 p.m. ages 7 to 10. Check that out on our Parks and Rec webpage. I'll also note the family that spoke here. I also received communication from Kevin's brother, and I won't read it because I can't get through it. But he just expressed how much he cared about his brother, and that he was taken too soon, and he was a good father and a good friend. So.
All right, we'll take up item number 20, discussion and possible action to enter an executive session pursuant to 25 OS 307B4 for the purpose of allowing confidential communication with the city attorney concerning the case held Kevin Lang and Brenda Lang individually as the trustees of the Kevin Lang and Brenda Lang Joint Trust dated March 5, 2018 versus City of Yukon and the City of Yukon Board of Adjustments, case number CV-2025-304. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All right, take a vote.
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby, Shriver,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Pillmore,
Yes.
do this one too. We'll also take up item 21, discussion possible action to enter executive session pursuant 25 OS 307B4 for the purpose of allowing confidential communication with the city attorney concerning the case styled Charles Edward Bishop versus Yukon Police Department and Chief of Police John Korn, case number CV 2024-245. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? City Clerk, will you take roll on that?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby, Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes.
All right. And do we want on this one?
Yeah, sorry. We got one more, guys. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Oh, you got
No,
it?
that's it. Who
Okay.
had one on this one?
Okay, you're good.
Or on just city attorney.
At this time, we'll consider reconvening from executive session. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Shriver.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. I'll now read the minutes of the executive session. During the executive session, only items on the agenda were discussed, no action was taken, and no votes were cast. At this time, this meeting is adjourned.